Now it's time to move on to the secondary, and it's my great pleasure to introduce our secondary principal and secondary assistant principal, Miss Sally Monteith and Mr. Craig Paterson.
Hi, good morning. Make sure I'm unmuted. Yes, thank you for joining us today. We're coming from around the world. That's great to see. I'm going to give you an overview of the secondary, what we do, and the building that we work on from the primary school before we look at moving into the specifics of the secondary curriculum. So in the secondary, like primary, we work on focusing on the whole child. We have a personalized approach that we use to best support the students through their time at ISR. So we provide the opportunities to explore their passions and interests during the school, as well as working with them to develop and support them beyond just the academics that we also have. And so some of the ways that we do this is we have our college counselor who starts working with our students in grade 8 to choose their courses for the IGCSE for grade 9 and works with them right up until they apply to universities in grade 11 and 12. And we also have a very active pastoral care system where, sorry, excuse me. Sorry, so I just got distracted. I apologize. Someone's just come in the room. So we have active pastoral care system that helps students and supports them who may be struggling academically, for example, or if they need to get some support for time management. And we provide them with strategies to help them be successful. And every grade has 1 or 2 advisors who works and checks in with the students every single day for a very brief period of time. And then they work with the group of students, their advisees, for a longer period of time, a full period actually, once a week. And like in the primary, we also have an English as an additional language program for the students who needs to have some more support for their English language, as well as a learning support coordinator who works with students and with teachers to best support our students. And then one thing we're very proud of, and I was very pleased to see the video at the beginning because that came out of this, it's our mission and service program, which is student initiated and student led, and it focuses on students' passions. And all of the groups tie themselves back to the ISR mission statement, as well as giving back to our community in some capacity. And so in order to support the buy-in and get our students involved in this program, we provide them with time through the school day, once a week, for running out of the program, getting them for the development of the skills, which also Ginta was referring to, but it transfers to not just their academic studies, but as well as to their life outside of the school. And it is also really good preparation for our students going from middle school into grades 9 and 10 high school, and the CAS program in IBDP, which is creativity, activity, and service. And so a list of some of the mission and service activities that we are offering this year are here for you to see. But the video that you saw at the beginning was actually done by a filming club mission and service group back 2 years ago. So you've seen a hands-on example of what our students are capable of doing. So like in primary, we have a very active arts, sports, academics, and activities program that runs after school. Most of the time, there are some that run through the school day, depending on schedules. And so they're run in trimesters, and they actually coincide with sports seasons, which allow our students to compete with other schools in Riga. And we've actually even done sports exchanges and tournaments down in Vilnius in Lithuania. And obviously that's not happening right now, but once COVID is over, we will go back to doing that when it's face-to-face. So here's just some examples, and you can see from the picture that was from Annie that was done 2 years ago. So in the secondary, we actually have 3 different curricula. In the middle school, we have the International Middle Years Curriculum, IMYC. In high school, we've got the IGCSE for grades 9 and 10, and then the International Baccalaureate program in grades 11 and 12. So at this time, it is my pleasure to hand it over to the secondary assistant principal, Craig Paterson, who is also our IMYC coordinator. Craig.
Good morning all. It's lovely to see you. Thank you, Sally. I'm just going to take a few minutes to take you through the IMYC program, why we use that within our middle school only. It's a program that is built for grades 6, 7 and 8. So this is students who are just hitting adolescence. This is a very important program, as you can see by point number 5, that helps our students to bridge the gap between the PYP program and then as they move into the IGCSE program in grade 9. There are 5 points that are the underlying principles of the IMYC program based on the thinking of the students. That is, they need to make meaning of their learning. Students at this age, they need to make those connections. As we all know, students, as they're hitting their teenage years, they need active involvement within their lives. They need their peers for so many things. And as I've said, they need a bridge from primary to secondary. And this program does this very well. The program itself is based around a series of units, which I'll show you some examples in a moment. But very much like the PYP, the IMYC learning is based around a central idea or a big idea. The difference, though, as they move into the middle school program is they will start attending individual classes. So they will go to science, they'll have social studies, which is history and geography. They'll have music classes, art, technology, English, mathematics, and so forth. But within all of these programs, we're all looking at the same units of work, which is centered around the big idea. And then we follow a circular process, as you can see in front of us, starting with an entry point right through to the learning activities, reflection, assessment for learning, and we end with the exit point as well. Some of the units that are covered here, you can see they're all based on a concept. That concept then stems to the big idea. So that in the top row, you can see in front of you the units that are covered in grade 6. That middle row are the units that are covered in grade 7, and the bottom row are the units that are covered in grade 8. All of the single subjects, science, social studies, maths, etc., will all be looking and be basing themselves on that particular concept and the big idea, but then the learning outcomes will be based around the curriculum of science and social studies and so forth. As always, it's already been mentioned to you in the PYP and in the primary program, assessment and evaluation is important. We know that already. But for the IMYC, it's structured around 3 specific types. Their knowledge, which everyone can understand. There's a whole lot of different ways that we assess their knowledge. It might be tests, it might be exams, but also it might be project-based learning and doing research. But we're also looking at the skills. The IMYC program itself has a really good support mechanism in their assessment for learning program to help us assess the skills. And then the students' understanding is through their reflections as well as the exit points, which are the big projects we do at the end of each unit. But what's different about an IMYC school? Why have we chosen to have the International Middle Years program just for grades 6, 7 and 8 at our school? And that is because it specifically meets the needs of those students 11 to 14. And that's that middle school age in the middle. The high school grade 9 and 10, 11 and 12 are a little bit more focused. coming up from the primary school. They're all working within the one classroom. Here they're starting to branch out. But the program still focuses on the student as a whole. But as I said to you, the big idea links the different curriculum subject areas together. It does prepare the students for high school because it promotes critical thinking, collaboration, and communication skills, but they still get the opportunity to develop and present their own ideas within the exit point program. And just as a side, within our distance learning program, we've developed a program over the last 2 years. This year, we're calling it this Middle School Spring Project, where for 2 weeks, we just started it this week. The students are all on independent learning, working with supervisor teachers, where they're working on researching, developing their ideas in something that they are passionate about. So we've got students who are learning how to cook. We've got students who have never cooked before, but they're taking the time now to learn how to cook. When do you get time to teach your kids how to cook? We've got kids learning how to play instruments, developing their artistic skills. We've got students sewing, teaching themselves how to sew, make their own clothes, sport and recreation, developing fitness activities. And one of the reasons we do this and what we're quite proud of here at school is that we know that the distance learning can be hard. Sitting on the computer the whole time, every day, interacting with your teachers is difficult, not having that social interaction. So we're putting these programs in place, particularly during the distance learning program, to get the kids to broaden what they're doing, get themselves off the computer, and get them to do something that they are passionate about. With that, I'll hand back to Sally, who will continue on talking about the IGCSE. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Craig. I'll just a brief aside to go with his. I'm a supervisor for one of the cooking groups, and already after 2 days, they've done some great recipes and have good plans for themselves. So it's nice to see them engaged in a passion that is going to be useful for them. Just wish we were in person so we actually might get to taste some of their creations. So on with the IGCSE. So it stands for the International General Certificate of Secondary Education, and it's awarded by the Cambridge International Examinations. And the culminating assessments for the IGCSE are exams at the end of a 2-year program. But again, as it's brought up in primary and as what Craig said, assessment is important all the way through. So it's not like we just ignore assessments and evaluations through this time, but we do ongoing assessments and scaffold and build the skills and the knowledge and the content so the students can be successful at the end of it. Our Cambridge coordinator, who is also our college counselor, supports the students with their subject choices from grade 8 and then through into their next group of subject choices, helping to ensure that they're on the path that they need to be on to be successful in not just diploma, but moving on to university and what their longer term plans are. And for our Latvian students, we, instead of taking the IGCSE language course, that they can opt into taking Latvian classes, which prepare them for the Latvian national exams, both at the end of grade 9 and then continuing their studies so they can do it at the end of grade 12. So the IGCSE is a rigorous program, and the students are required to take 7 core classes, and these are the 7 classes that we are requiring the students to take here at ISR. So they also are allowed to take 3 elective courses. So they do get to choose a language, whether it's French, Spanish, Latvian, or some of our students have taken a self-study mother tongue course if it's for when they go back to their home country and need to have done a study in their best language. They need to take a social studies, and those are the 2 that we offer, and then an arts or technology, whether it's art and design, computer science, or music. So they're getting a very broad range of courses and developing themselves in a variety of different subject areas. So now we're moving on to the actually, I want to just add about the IGCSE is that the rigor of the academics do in fact, prepare them for the IBDP. And then, as I wrote in the previous slide, the Global Perspectives course is a new addition, and it's really supportive of the part of the core program that we offer in the diploma. So moving forward to grades 11 and 12 in the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program. And it's, again, another 2-year rigorous program with culminating exams at the end or large assessments, depending on their subject choices. And again, like has happened in primary, IMYC, and in IGCSE, we do prepare them with different assessments and evaluations along the way, so they are ready in order to do their external exams or external assessments at the end of the 18 months. And it is a very good preparation for universities, and it is considered to be a very prestigious degree for them to have. They have to take 6 subjects and successfully pass the core in order to be awarded the IB diploma. And so if you're looking at the program model there on the right, like the primary years program model, we've got the student in the center, and that's the 3 heads that you see, and that runs through all of the IB programs. And so as Ginta mentioned, the way the IB puts the students at the center is having the learner profile, and those are the 10 attributes there that the IB feels we need to develop in the learners as well as teachers. And we develop these in all of our learners, not just the IBDP program and the IBPYP program. And one of the ways in secondary that we do this is having a learner profile of the month. And we actually do this across the whole school, including early years and primary. So we do focus on these as well to develop in our students. So here we are looking back at the program model, and you can see the second circle is the approaches to teaching and approaches to learning. And so these are the skills that, again, Ginta referred to back with the primary years program: communication, collaboration, self-management, research, and thinking. So just we follow that through the entire schooling that they have here at ISR. And they are lifelong skills. They transfer to outside of not just education, but to what they will do in university, as well as lifelong skills in the workplace. So the core is a requirement to successful completion of the diploma. And there are 3 components to the core. So we have the creativity, activity, and service, which adds value to the student's education through student-driven projects. They participate in internships, it could be sports, types of career advancements, skills development, and community service projects. They also have to complete a theory of knowledge course, which runs over the 16 months. And it's a critical thinking course where they have to engage in different ways of knowing. And extended essay is a 4,000-word independent research paper that they need to do that is based in a subject, an area of a passion that they have. They're spending a lot of time with this essay, so they really need to be involved and engaged and really like what they're studying. So finally, we get to, back to that circle model, we get to the actual content of academics that the students are engaged in. So it's made up of 6 courses that they need to take. And these are the course selections that we offer here at ISR. Some students will choose to take 2 group 1 subjects. And if they do that, they end up with a bilingual diploma, which is quite distinguished for them. They're working in 2 languages considered proficient mother tongue level. So that is a very good accomplishment for any student who undertakes that. And also for some students, depending on where they're going for their university, the group 6 can be replaced with a second group 3, a social studies, or a second group 4, which is a science-based course. And the final part of the IBDP is that outer ring of the program model, which says international mindedness. And this permeates all areas of our programs, allowing the students to gain respect and perspective for people. And this ties back to our ISR mission statement way back at the beginning, if you remember, where it talks about being an internationally minded citizen of tomorrow. So this international mindedness is how we work and develop our students to be that global citizen and internationally minded citizen.